Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is video 13 of my travel hack series, and it's going to be on my booking to Bali. So I'm going to go over our booking to Bali, and ours is, we like to book business class and first class as much as we can. I'm still shooting to get first class on this itinerary. Right now we're in business, and we started off in kind of a worse situation than we are right now, but I want to show you guys how you can book a not necessarily desirable flight and be able to change that as you move in closer. So my last video, I used some visual aids to help with showing my flights on where I went, and those visual aids used a lot of computing resources, and it actually crashed my computer about 30 times. It took me 3 days to export that video to a format that I could upload to YouTube. So I did what any normal travel hacker would do and used the $100 that I've made in grand total on this YouTube channel, because YouTube cut me off from monetization of these videos several months ago because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. I used that $100, got a credit card, added a few more $1,000, and built myself a workhorse of a computer. So I need your subscriptions more than ever. Now that everything's done, now I can make this video, and I'm going to add a few of the new graphics and see how it works out. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you like it, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a like, and if you have any comments, leave them down below. We really appreciate it. Our booking actually started a little bit later than I wanted to. We only booked it about 4 or 5 months ago. We're actually leaving next month. We have about a month before we leave. And I have been looking for seats to become available so that I can switch my itinerary to take more desirable flights. So I initially took whatever I could get to get out there within the rules of American Airlines and the One World partnership, but I'm now trying to tidy up where we had some crappy long connections. And really, it doesn't cost anything when you book an international flight on American Airlines points. It doesn't cost anything except for tax differences in your flight. And American Airlines is one of the cheaper for taxes overall. You'll find some like British Airways, when you go international, they charge enormous amounts for taxes on an award flight. And a lot of these don't make a lot of sense. If you're saving up all these miles, why would you want to book a flight with award miles and still pay $1,000 in taxes to get wherever you're going? We don't like that. We like American Airlines. We like their points. It only cost us, we went to the Maldives. It cost us $50 a piece. We're going to Bali. I think it cost us something similar, around $50 a piece. I just changed the flight. I changed and took out a leg of it, and it cost me $5 to do. So long as you follow these rules that are made for American Airlines, it's going to cost very little. And I think it's a good plan to go with. Taking an itinerary that may not be desirable just to get the itinerary, and then upgrading bits and pieces as you go along. And you can do it with the Award.Flights Finder. This is what I use to keep me up to date on what seats become available. You can also use stuff like Expert Flyer, but Expert Flyer won't do notifications. At least the last time I checked, they won't do notifications to let you know when award seating becomes available. I don't even think that they know which seats are awards. So I think that's the biggest problem with Cathay Pacific, which is who we're trying to fly. Cathay Pacific is an awesome airline, and when you're trying to fly business or first class, they're really one that you want to get. Before we get into I'm going to tell you my itinerary, where we're flying, how I'm changing it out, and what I plan to do in the future. One of my future videos, when we go on the trip, we're going to show you where we went, some of the awesome hotels, show you a little bit of the scenery, and we're going to be taking a tour. And this is one of the things that I want to point out. We've been to Bali in the past. We've been there several times, and the last time we went, we ran into Ketut. And Ketut was our driver, and we ended up becoming friends with him. But he took us on a great tour. He charged us much less than it would cost in a hotel, getting the hotel to do it, because you can get prearranged tours done by the hotel. If you hire them independent, he makes all the money, and he takes less of a fee than if you went through the hotel, who takes most of the money and only gives him a small portion. So if you can, this is a good, hard-working family man. Go through him. He's a great guy. We're going back out there. We're going through him again. We're meeting up with him. He's got great knowledge on a lot of the customs in Bali, and with the religion and the events that they have. He's well worth the money. He's very honest. He's got a great car. It's very clean. It's big. Information down in the description below, but also you can go to BaliTouristDriver.com. Now, going through a hotel, you're probably going to pay, like I said, $100 or around that area. He's going to save you 25-30% if you go through him, and you're getting the exact same service. So check him out. Great guy. Couldn't recommend him more. Moving on. I found these flights by using Award.Flights Finder. Our initial flight, let me look this up so I get it straight. We had a couple of options, and we booked about 4 or 5 months out, so most of the flights were taken. You really want to book more like 11, 10 months out if you can to get the best availability. Or you have to wait until you're like 2 weeks in. What I like to do is book it as far as possible out so that we can make our hotel reservations, get all that out of the way, and you don't have to worry about anything. It's really kind of nerve-wracking saving a family vacation until the last minute to try and get open award seats. In our instance, they had open award seats, but they were crappy. We had a choice, and a lot of times you don't even have a choice, but we're flying from Denver to Bali, and what we did is we had a choice. We could Denver, Phoenix, LA to Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur down to Bali. The problem with that was that exceeds the number of legs you're allowed to have on a one-way itinerary with American Airlines, and they just changed this rule. So ultimately, that's one leg too many. So we could not do that. There was only one option, and that was Denver to Dallas, Dallas to Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur down to Bali. The Kuala Lumpur leg in there is we get in at 9 p.m. and we leave at like 8 a.m. to get in. And so there's really no usable time in Kuala Lumpur. Obviously, if we could get rid of that leg altogether and take a day off of our travel, it would be awesome. So what I did is I kept my eye open, and just a few days ago, now remember we're a month out, I'm looking for J availability, which is business class, and here you can see all the premium economy that's available. And notice that if it's on one line, there's a little space here. This is a direct flight, so you can count on going JFK to Hong Kong. Slide down a little bit further, and this is 2 legs to get where you're going. And this is flying from Canada to LAX to Hong Kong, and that's only in economy class. So there is a good amount of direct availability in premium economy. We were looking in J class, which is business direct. Now there are other options down here if we didn't want to fly direct to get in. And this is only for the leg from the United States to Hong Kong. So what we wanted to do is remove the Kuala Lumpur leg. And to do that, let's see, I want to show you this first just because this was a couple days ago. We had 5 seats available in the time that we wanted to go. We're a little bit flexible. Today, I did the same search, and there's only 1 available. It dropped from 5 legs from the United States to Hong Kong in this 3-day period down to 1. So I'm glad we didn't need one of those. But our big one was I was waiting for the Hong Kong to DPS, Hong Kong to Bali leg. And as you can see, all of these, this is the Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur that we used to have. Luckily, like I said a few days ago, a flight opened up direct from Hong Kong to Bali. And we do have to stay over in Hong Kong, but the leg is long enough so that we can actually do something in Hong Kong. So we're going to spend a little bit of time in Hong Kong, and here's the quick rules. So we flew Denver to Dallas, Dallas to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur to Bali. That's as many legs as you can make. That's the max you can make. Now, we dropped off that Kuala Lumpur leg, so we're going Hong Kong to Bali. So what that gives us is that gives us availability. If something else opens up, we now have the ability to take an extra leg in there. So, because now we're down to 3 legs. So something to keep in mind, whenever on these trips, you aren't allowed to have a layover more than 24 hours on international flights. On domestic flights, you can't have more than 4 hours. So international flights, you can have a layover of up to 24 hours or 23 hours, 59 minutes. And that gives you an opportunity to have a little bit of a stayover, check out the place you're in. In ours, we've been to Hong Kong before. We would prefer not to have it, but if we have it, we're going to go do something there. Another rule is you can change your award itinerary for no fee, so long as your origin and your destination stay the same. So since we're leaving from Denver and the end of our trip is in Bali, DPS, we can change the legs to anywhere. Right now we're flying to Dallas. We have the ability to change it Denver to LA if we want to, if something becomes available. LA to Hong Kong. Or we could go Denver to San Francisco to Tokyo if we wanted to. Just so long as our end spot is Bali. And it can be any day too. We can change days, we can change legs, just so long as the origin and destination remain the same. That's all that I can think of right now. So, we're going to change it up until we get the flight that we wanted. So yes, I signed up for an undesirable flight. We've changed it now, and now we're on a much more desirable flight, and we're even going to try and get first class. And if a first class seat pops up, we're going to snag it so that we can take that. But as you can see from earlier, if you want to go for premium economy, if you want to go for economy, you have a lot more choices to go what to go with, but you also have the same rules. So those rules, make sure you follow them, and you'll be able to switch flights like nothing else. There's a lot of availability. If you've watched my last videos, you've seen a program like this. It's the Award.Flights Finder. Since my last update when I showed you how to use the Award.Flights Finder, there has been some upgrades to it. They changed the programming around a bit. They've added some features. You now have a search history, which will show you the last 10 itineraries that you searched for, and it stores them. So long as you register, it will store your last flights. You can also pin something that you like, which when the search is just getting done completed, there will be a little pin that will save it to your scratch pad. So if you have a particular flight that you like, you can click the pin that's after it. It doesn't show up in your history, but it will show up right after the search is done if you want to save one of those flights to your scratch pad. The search is a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same. And actually, here is the pin. So if I wanted to save this flight for some reason to refer to later, click the pin, and it is now pinned to your scratch pad. So that's about it. I came in here searching every day. Again, if I wanted to reduce the amount that I'm looking at, since I'm just looking for J class, I can go into the filters, remove regular economy, remove premium economy, and I'm left with the only flight that's available. That can help reduce some of the confusion. It's a great tool. Couldn't recommend it more. Keep an eye out for our future video. I'm going to show you the hotel that we got into. Again, this flight cost us $50. The change for this flight costs us $5 for the change in taxes. So don't worry about changing things up. Just be aware that if you're making a reservation and something doesn't come up, you're going to be stuck with that reservation. But also be aware that it's really easy to change. All we did is we found the flight. Once we found the flight, we called American Advantage, gave them our reservation number, and just had her cut out that leg and put in the new one. If you call up, sometimes they still don't know this, but you're not able on this international flight, you're not able to make the reservation online. There's a booking fee that is instituted with American Airlines if you don't use their online service, if you call one of their agents. But that fee is waived if you ask them to waive it. It's supposed to automatically be waived, but it doesn't always get waived. So you got to ask them to waive it because you cannot make this online, so it's not an option, and they're supposed to waive it. So make sure they waive that fee for not booking online, and that's about it. Our next video is going to show one of our next videos. I'm going to have a review of where we went. I'm going to show you some of the cool things that we did. And so make sure to subscribe to our channel, click the little bell down below, and like it. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate it. And check out Ketut. He's a great guy. Thanks.